Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fundamental Days series. I've got some cool stuff for you today. I've got lips. We're going to be doing female and male lips, and we'll see how that goes. When I was looking through the references, most of them actually look the same, but I found a couple that were a little bit thinner than others. And we can also use the faces that we've used from previous videos to create the lips in this video. So, without further ado, let's just get straight to it. References will be down in the description below, as usual. And let's get going. Right, hey guys, I want to show you, I went to the art store today. It's been a while since I went, and I'm really happy I was able to pick up a couple things. I picked up some Sumi ink for, what's it called, for making like comics and stuff, and a little steel nib with this, so a dip pen. I think these are called dip pens. Reason why is I've been looking to do a cool, exciting new project, which I won't announce just yet, but you might know if you're in the Discord. I also went and picked up not new pencils, but new pencil leads. I got some 2H lead over here, and you can see I've already got ink on my fingers, and some 2H lead for these pencils. So I'm pretty much set for any videos that we get to do. Exciting new tool. I've never really used this. I used it a little bit at school, sixth form, and it was very exciting to use this, so I can't wait. It's definitely got a lot of feel to it, which I think it just adds more control to whatever you're doing. But today I'm going to use let's get this, it's an old pencil. It's you can't even see it. It's a Spectrum Blue. I think it's a Derwent, whatever the company is that makes these. Derwent or whatever, blue colored pencil. So I'm going to just use this for rough shapes, and then we're going to go in with a lead or something to go over it. Now let's start off with some female lips. I was thinking maybe it would be smart to actually, let me get a different reference real quick. Let's start with the normal front view of the lips. Now I like to start my lips with this little shape over here. And looking at the reference, just going to make sure this one's quite wide. This is the basic shape that I like to start lips with, because it's I don't know, it just seems to drive the image. I know where to go from whenever I start doing this. And then out of that, I'm going to start building what is pretty much the smile of the lips. See, I'm not actually too good at drawing lips myself, so that's the reason why I really wanted to make this video. Do want to actually practice them. Now that's the upper lip. It almost looks like a mustache. If you wonder why it looks like a mustache, that means you're on the right track. And then the bottom lip over here, I'm gonna draw a little circle. What you can actually do is do two circles here and here. And this is going to help you create this shape, because it is a little bit dented at the bottom here. It depends on the lips. But this here shape is what you're looking for. And that is really, that's pretty much it. I mean, we've got a pair of lips here. That's it. You know, let's go in at the bottom. This is where like the beginning of the chin starts happening too. And then you've got a shadow that's usually created here, and depending on your lighting, usually you'll be lighting coming from the top here. So that means that the bottom lip, since it's sticking outwards like this, let's see if I can do this is pretty much what your lips will look like from the side. The bottom lip tends to be inner, and the upper lip is pointing outwards. So what happens is, if you've got light coming down here, this whole part's going to be dark, and you're going to have light over here, and then it's going to start to get dark again. So we can go ahead and fill this lip over here with a little bit of shading. That's going to look great. And yeah, that's the simplest way of drawing a lip that I know of, at least. This is my method. I know it's taken me a very long time to learn lips, so don't be discouraged if you're trying to learn them as well. It does take a while. Now let's see here. I'm going to get a different reference real quick. These ones are a little bit different. And this is a technique that I learned from watching the great... Wow, David Finch. Sorry, went brain dead over there for a second. And he used a cylinder to show this. So let's just do a cylinder. I'm going to try and do the same as him because it's a great way of explaining. Because this, if you imagine it, we've got the skull, like the nose of the skull here, and then the teeth wrap around. It's almost like a cylinder, but ignore that for the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, highlight my proportions, and we're going to go ahead and do that shape one more time. So just like that, and the upper lip here is quite large. And we're going to start with this shape, and I'm going to use this shape to set up the rest of the lips. So in this case, since these are going outwards like that, the shape is slightly different. Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit. Make sure that we get this. So since the shape is slightly different, I'm now going to go ahead. See, open lips are what I actually struggle with the most. So let's see if we can do a decent job here of having these lips open. This is just as much of a practice session for me as it is for any of you guys, which I do hope you are joining in. And I'm going to fill this bit in, and then this bit of the lip is very plump. So almost outwards like this. I'm almost using this a little bit too harshly. I shouldn't be using the blue so much. And I'm going to try and do the shape at the bottom again. Then we're going to go ahead, connect the shape. Awesome. That's actually looking pretty nice. Very happy with that. And then there's a little upwards point over here. See, it's funny, I bought 2H lead to be doing this sort of stuff, and now I'm using a blue pencil. I need to get one of those erasable blue pencils, because this one isn't erasable, and it is fantastic for drawing like the underlayer of something. And I'm going to go ahead and draw the teeth. I'm not going to get too accurate with it, because I think teeth can very easily ruin a picture. If you go ahead and start filling in all the teeth, it starts to look a little weird. There's a shadow being created inside. Over here. Awesome. Now, did I forget my rubber? Would you look at that? No, I've got one right. I'm going to see if I can erase this a little bit so we can... Oh, there we go. Yeah, that worked decently enough. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and grab myself... Let's see how this 2H lead's going to hold up. Oh yeah, we can do that a little bit. Just going to go in and try and recreate the shape so it's a little bit easier to understand. When we're drawing in comics or anything like that, we tend to very much exaggerate the female lips like this, and we almost draw them as if there's always lipstick on them. That's often how female lips were represented. Obviously that doesn't, mean if you don't have lipstick you can't be a woman, or the other way around, anything like that. It's just how they were represented usually in comic books. And it's a nice way to differentiate your characters, I say. Which doesn't mean you can't have lipstick on a man or not. That's obviously your choice with your art, but that's how I like to do it. So usually if I'm drawing the male lips, they'll be a lot thinner and not as pronounced as this. This is quite a pronounced example. And also with this, I've got a little bit of a thing like this happening here. There's almost like a little cushioning here. And then we're going to go ahead and shade this in. On this paper, 2H really seems like HB on other paper, and I've loved how clean it is. I've always stood away from 2H lead a lot, and now I regret it. It is awesome. I love it. And then we've got the upper part of the lip connecting like this. And then, of course, we have the nose up here, which will have its own separate episode eventually. I do plan on doing the nose. There's so many parts that we need to cover separately. It's good for me, because I've got plenty of stuff to record and plenty of stuff to practice, but it's also good for you, because you've got plenty of stuff to practice, you know? I do not want to ever hear the excuse, I have nothing to draw. Because that is not a good excuse. You always have something to draw. And that's always practice, real life, anything that's going to make you a better artist tomorrow. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit carried away with these lips, but I'm enjoying it. So, that's the lip from the side. Now I'm going to come in here quickly, go over these ones a little bit, just so we've got a nicer, darker outline. Just erasing them a little bit. And let's go back in. I will definitely use the dip pen at some point in one of these episodes, I do promise. I need to get my grips with it. And then I'll be a dip pen machine. I often like to make the lines here a little bit less seen and more breaking up usually. It just seems to look a lot nicer on a drawing, especially if you are drawing a slightly smaller character and you're not as zoomed in on the face. You can really get away with just like showing this line here but not showing a line here, if that makes sense. So if we say remove these lines here, you'd very much get away with this if you were drawing a character further away. You don't need to be very, very precise with the lines here. And there we go. Awesome. And we do a little bit of shading. We didn't end up doing that on this one, so let's see how the shading pattern would look. So it's more or less like this. It's nice to look back at your drawings and be proud of them, because I look at the way I'm drawing these lips right now and I'm very happy with with the result. It's been definitely a long struggle to get to a point where I can draw something like this. It's taken me years and years and years of practice, and eventually, you know, when you're doing these drawings, at some point you just look at it and you're like, hell yeah, like that it took so long to get here, but now it's paying off. I'm gonna get rid of that so we can draw the next lip. Let's see what we're gonna go for. Let's go for these male lips. So these are a little bit more pronounced. They're a bit thick, but that's alright. Let's see. Where's my blue pencil? Blue pencil. Right. Once again, I'm going to start off with this shape. Now this time it's not as curved. It's a lot more angular, which is another way we can often represent male characters in comics or whatever we're drawing, or character design. We can often use much more angular designs to show them. Let's see. His lips seem a little bit puckered up. I think that's the word. Let's do that corner here. We've got the circles. So these are male lips, but technically if you can't see the rest of the character, you can't really tell. So that's why I tend to make them a lot smaller, just so it's much easier to differentiate. Often if you're doing very simple cartoons, you can just get away with doing like this for a male character. That's what I will often do, just that. That's enough to show you an expression. But then again, that's a discussion of style and how you want to stylize your drawing. And alright, since I've got the base, let me erase that, and we're going to go in with a little bit more detail. I like the blue pencil because it seems to get to a perfect point where I can just continue with the drawing on afterwards. Let me just make sure we got the focus in. And we're going to go in and finish up these final lips. It's got a very, very angular lip here. Let's see, do this. I always like to almost create these connection points and then just fill them in. It's probably the easiest way to do stuff. I mean, I guess you could tell these are male lips. They are a little bit more angular. Let's do a little bit of stubble so it's even more obvious. Oop, that screwed up. That doesn't look good. Get rid of that. Man, 2H letters for the win. I'm joining 2H gang. Definitely a little bit crusty. Let's do a little bit of shading at the top again. And the shading does usually carry on over to the bottom lip. But this depends on what style you're doing. In a realistic drawing, you wouldn't be doing too much of this. In a cartoon, manga, / anything like that, you wouldn't really be pronouncing it as much. But it's important that you have this knowledge, because lips are very important for motion and all this stuff we want to show on our characters. And we'll do a little bit of shading at the bottom, just to differentiate. And I'm going to draw in the angle of everything, so this is... Oh, that definitely kind of ruined it, but that's how, if we were to put this in a 3D space, that's how it's looking. So it's slightly at an angle. So he's going to be looking over, over here. I love that. That is the drawing of the year for me. It's awesome. Alright, let's do actually one more set of lips. I'm just going to move this over so we have a nice light. And let's challenge ourselves with this one a little bit more. Let me find a good one. I think I just saw Mads Mikkelsen's lips. Let's see, I don't have a reference for an angled one. I should have done that. A more angled one, at least. I'm sure I'll find one in a second. Okay. Alright, yeah. Okay, I've got one. So these are a little bit more angled. So we're going to go in again with the blue pencil. And I've kind of screwed this up already. This way, like that. And let's do that. More or less, that's the shape we're going for. Oh, sorry guys. Microphone was falling off. Don't want that to happen. And that's going to come in around here. This is going to go further down. Fill this in over here. And see, these ones are a little bit more complex. A little bit of a harder shape to understand. It's a little bit more foreshadowing. Foreshortening. Sorry, foreshadowing is a different thing, I think. And then create the lips going from over here all the way to here. They didn't actually turn out as great as I wanted them to be, but I think we're going to be able to get the gist of it. Let's see if I can... We'll correct it with the pencil. And we'll rub out the base. Pencil to the side, other pencil in, tag team. And I'm going to start off by making my beautiful shape here. And from the reference, the lips are actually going upwards like this. and then coming down. They're very much duck lips right now. If you look at it like this, it looks like a duck. And then this might not turn out as well as I want it to, but I guess we'll have to see. There we go. That one's facing outwards a little bit, and then we go inwards again. To the shape that we love. Yeah. Cool. As you can see, we've got this shape in here that is deciding what our lip's gonna look like. And then we come in outside and we've got the shape. Look at that. That turned out great. And if you guys want for the reference, the two circles are over here creating the shape that we need. I guess I'm going to curve this a tiny bit at the bottom. That looks great. You know, never judge your drawing at the first stages, because usually you end up fixing it and it looks a lot better near the end. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in with some shading. And that is a side lip. Just a little bit more shading. And we'll go over here. There we go. So, those are some lips. I think we've done a pretty good job here. We've got our new favorite character that we've created. Let's call him, I say he's a John. That's a John right there. Alright, I very much enjoyed doing this video. Lips are quite fun to draw. For me, eyes used to be like the most fun to draw, but these are getting up there, especially this one. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. Let's go back to the sofa and chat about it. So guys, I think that was a pretty awesome session. Happy with the way they turned out. Lips were always something I struggled with. That and noses and eyes, everything pretty much, but I can finally see some of the fruits of my labor showing up. All the practice that I've been doing over the years has built that muscle memory, and it's exactly what you guys need to be doing. I'm hoping that you take these videos and you go through them, watch them, and practice the same things I'm practicing, and then a lot more as well on top of that. Remember, art is a long journey, and do not be discouraged if you don't see results straight away. Remember, when you get to that ceiling where you think you just need to give up and everything sucks, that's that one last push that you need to get to that next level. And as soon as you do, you will be like, my art is awesome. I know I've improved. So every time you get discouraged, every time you get to a point where you feel like, I suck at this, I can't do it anymore, just know that actually I'm finally there. I just need that one last step. And when you do that one last step, you'll be very happy with yourself afterwards. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. And if you want to see anything else like this or follow the series, check out the playlist and leave a sub as well. And then you'll have my channel at your disposal. Thank you very much and happy drawing.